Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Good afternoon, sir. Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon. Let me share the screen. Okay. So this current lab sheet is on image transforms. So you know about Fourier transform, right? So what does Fourier transform do? Yeah, I need quick answers. Otherwise, I will move on and just give a lecture here.
Sir, from time domain to frequency domain, we will convert using Fourier transforms.
Okay, it will convert from time domain to frequency domain. Okay, so essentially, if you give a signal, it will give the frequency content in the signal. Okay, so frequency content, when we mention here, it gives in terms of the strength of different sinusoids. Okay, having that frequency, it expands the signal in terms of sinusoids. Okay, and it gives the strength of different sinusoids of different frequencies. Okay, that's what a Fourier series expansion does. Okay, discrete Fourier transform also essentially does it. So a signal is expressed in terms of weighted sum of different sinusoids. Okay, so when we can also consider that writing in terms of having different sinusoids, okay, and giving them different weights. Okay, so you can see this. What we are giving is there are different sinusoids. For each of them, we are giving different strengths. And if we just weighted sum of different sinusoids, if you take, what you get is the signal. Okay, is this clear here? We are splitting the signal into different sinusoids. Okay, and their respective strengths, if we multiply and add, what we get is the signal. Fine. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right.
The result signal is in the time domain.
Right. So this same thing, if we see for the inverse Fourier transform. So this is the inverse Fourier transform to get the Fourier frequencies to time domain. If we want to take the Fourier transform, we just take the transpose operation of this. Okay. So the whole thing, we take the transpose or inverse operation. In this case, these are referred to as basis signals. Okay. So each of them are basis signals. Now they are sinusoidal signals. They are all of different frequencies. Okay. And when we multiply the these each is orthogonal to other basis vectors, right? As you can see, this sinusoid is orthogonal to this. The reason is within one cycle, if you see, okay, this will, even within half cycle, if you see, the sum of this will be equal to 0. Okay, it will cover both positive and negative sides. Okay, so within one cycle, it will surely be 0. Okay, in some frequencies, it may not be 0 for half cycle, but if you see for over one cycle, it will cover equally positive and negative cycles in the other frequencies. Okay, so it means that these are all orthogonal, and hence this matrix, okay, inverse is its transpose itself. Such matrices are called unitary matrices. Okay, so and Fourier transform is a unitary transform because we are using the we can find the inverse simply by transpose of the matrix, okay, in matrix form. While doing matrix multiplication to the vector of signal, okay, you can do just simply multiply the frequency with the transpose of the matrix to get the original signal back. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in 2 dimensions, what we do is exactly same for finding the Fourier transform. What we do in 2 dimensions is Again, we have actually a signal, but now into the two-dimensional signal, which varies along x and y directions. Okay, so now this sinusoids also has, okay, x directional sinusoid and y directional sinusoid. That means you have actually frequencies varying in both x and y directions. So instead of basis signals, what we have called here, what we in two dimensions, what we have here are basis images. Okay, so basis images, if we multiply, okay, and weighted sum of those basis images, if we do, what we get is Fourier transform. Again, if we take basis images and multiply appropriately transpose of basis images to frequency coefficients, what we get is the signal in two dimensions. Okay, so our image in two dimensions, image which is signal in two dimensions. Okay, so the formula for Fourier transform, discrete Fourier transform, especially if we see, it is exactly same. Discrete Fourier transform or even continuous time Fourier transform, either in one dimensions and two dimensions. The only change is the basis functions now will have, you say, x directional basis function and y directional basis function. Okay, so both put together basis image you have. Okay, to get the frequency representation. Okay, is this clear? Now, if you see an example, if this is the signal, okay, which is an impulse signal, okay, and if you do the inverse Fourier transform for it, or if you take the Fourier transform, it will be just one all through. Okay, but if you have a two, this is sinusoid in y direction. You can see here. See, even in spatial domain, you can see that it is in frequency domain. You can see that it is sinusoid in y direction. In spatial domain, it looks like if there is a two impulses, okay, it means what? It is like a cosine, right? So cosinusoid. So in spatial domain, it is cosine, and hence in the frequency domain, it is, sorry, in spatial domain, it looks like two impulses, and hence in the frequency domain, it is cosine signal. Is this clear or not? So you see here, if you see this, there are two impulses, which is the Fourier transform of the cosine signal. Okay, that if I take in time domain or spatial domain, what I see in frequency domain is a cosinusoid, which is varying along this direction again. Cosinusoid in this direction, because two impulses are there in y direction. Okay, y direction two impulses imply cosinusoid in y direction in the other domain. Okay, it can be frequency domain to time domain or time domain to frequency domain. Okay, so is this clear? Is the formula of two-dimensional Fourier transform and the examples that I discussed, are those clear? Are any doubts?
So mathematically it is clear, but how we understand this pictorial representation? So can you please explain?
Yeah, see, mathematically, if you see delta of x comma y minus a, delta of x comma y plus a, if you see, okay, in x direction, there is nothing. Okay, at 0 itself, there is an impulse. In y direction, you have an impulse at a and minus a. Okay, so that is this relating this to this. Is that clear? Is this image
Yes,
can
sir.
be related to this? Yes. So now you apply the Fourier transform formula. What does Fourier transform formula gives? So it's a continuous time Fourier transform people have done here, but we can also apply discrete Fourier transform, wherein two summations will be here instead of, okay, the integrals here. Okay, that we will discuss later. But for time being, just if you apply the two-dimensional Fourier continuous time Fourier transform expression, okay, what is happening here? So basis functions when you do, so this finally what you got is, see, delta function at y equal to a and y equal to minus a. Okay, so two delta functions. So those are giving rise to e power j 2 pi into u into a. Okay, so because see, x direction only at 0 impulse, so it doesn't, okay, it is only 1. Oh, so dx will give only 1. Okay, but dy, if you see, there are, it will be exponential at ay, exponential at minus ay. Okay, that has given rise to these two terms, and hence you have a cosine signal. Since you have a cosine signal in v direction, y direction, okay, you see y direction, if you see, it is varying like a cosine. In x direction, this is a constant because nothing is varying in x direction. Okay, in u direction in frequency domain. Okay, here in the frequency domain, u is the horizontal direction, v is the vertical direction. Okay, is that clear now?
Yes, sir.
This is a function of u and v, wherein v along v direction only there is a variation like cosine variation. In u direction there is no variation because I think it's no way, it is not dependent upon u variable at all. So it is constant at all u. Okay. So and you can see that pictorially here. Directly if you see two impulses in y direction, okay, they will have in v direction sinusoid. That's all. That's the understanding. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear or any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now anyway, they have given the answer, but I think you have now two in time domain. Assume that I have a in frequency domain they have given. Okay, e power minus j ux u vy. Okay, these are the two impulses that are there in frequency domain. In time domain, how does it look like? What do you think? It will be a two impulses in one domain gives to sinusoid in that, okay, that direction. So in this direction, two impulses means sinusoid in this direction. That's what is happening here. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if these are at locations u0 and v0, okay, then what will happen? So u0 comma v0, u minus u0 comma minus v0. Then sinusoid, if you see that sinusoid also cos of 2 pi into u0 into x plus v0 into y. Okay, that's what, sorry, cos of u0 into x plus v0 into y. That will be the cosinusoid here that you see here. Okay, is that clear? This cosinusoid, okay, in time domain is, okay, u0 into x plus v0 into y, cosine of, is this sinusoid. Is that clear? Okay, so let us see. This is now again in, see if you increase the frequency here. Okay, see this is a sinusoid with low frequency. Okay, whereas if you put them away or if you put them away, what will happen? You will get a sinusoid with high frequency. That's what is happening here. Because signals are like this. Okay, the impulses are like this. You will also have sinusoid like this. Is that clear again?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay, so yeah. So please note that here it is an impulse. Okay, so it is a sinusoid here. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to do a little bit of practice of writing two-dimensional impulses, two-dimensional sinusoids to relate them appropriately. Also apply this formula to see whether they are corresponding or not. Okay, in this case it is very clear. But if there is a variation in x and y, okay, so it is x minus b and y minus x plus b, assume that. Then what will happen? There are two terms here. Okay, so one is with respect to dx, you will have two terms. So it will be cos 2 pi av into cos 2 pi bu. Okay, it is not plus. Okay, that I think we should take care. So even here, if you see, okay, this sinusoid will be u0 into x cos u0 x into cos v0 y. Okay, it's not u0 x plus v0 y as I said before. Okay, because here sum in this domain will reflect, okay, after integral as multiplication in other domain. Okay, is that clear or not? Yeah, I would suggest you to work out that. So if you take a impulse function which is having not at y direction, not in y direction, but in cross direction, what will happen to its spectrum? Okay, you try to figure out. X minus b, x plus b you take and then figure out. Okay. Is it fine or not? Will you be able to figure out or not?
Yes, sir. We will
Yeah.
work it out and see.
Right. Okay. So now see into if you have a rectangular function. Okay. So what will be its Fourier transform again? So if you have a single rectangular pulse, then it will be a sink in other direction, right? So if you see this rectangular block or rectangular patch, how you get this rectangular patch? If you take a rectangular pulse, small pulse in y direction, bigger pulse in x direction, do convolution between them. Okay, well, then what you get, or do multiplication between them, what you get is this. Okay, similarly now, in frequency domain as well, if you see, what will happen? There are two sinks. One sink is x directional sink, okay, and other is y directional sink. Okay, so if you do, say in the other case, if you do convolution, you should do multiplication in this case to get this two-dimensional sink. Is the discussion clear here what I am trying to say?
Sir, in time domain, we are performing multiplication.
Yeah. So time domain we have to do, say you have actually a pulse like this. Okay, this is one direction. Okay, the other direction is what you have is, okay, a pulse which is wider pulse. Okay, you have a wider pulse. Now, if you want to get this, what you should do, this is outer product of these two. If you do, this is a row column vector and this is a row vector. Assume that. Okay. So then this is a column vector. So this is a row vector. Some C cross 1 and this is some 1 cross D. Okay, then this is C cross D image. Okay, so you are performing multiplication here in the time domain. Then in frequency domain, what will happen? You have one sink corresponding to this. So corresponding to this, let me change the color and sketch. Okay, corresponding to this, you have a sink. Okay, so how does this sink will be? See, corresponding to this, you will have a sink with wider, okay, so you will have a sink with wider main lobe. Okay, so and then corresponding to this, you will have another sink. That sink will be with, okay, with what? With the smaller wide lobe. So I think you will have actually a narrower main lobe. Okay, because can you give the reason why I'm saying so?
Sir, expansion in time domain is contraction in frequency domain.
Correct. So expansion in time domain is contraction in frequency domain. Okay, and vice versa. Okay, the contraction here is expansion in the frequency domain. Okay, so you can consider this also having several. Okay, I just sketched roughly. So now this, if you perform, so here, say here also outer product only. No need to consider. These are one dimension to two dimension, I'm saying, right? So I'm trying to give the similarity now. If you do outer product of these two bases, okay, you get a two-dimensional image. If you do outer product of these two frequency domain, already you have got into frequency domain. So again, outer product of these two, if you do, you will get this result. Okay, here you see that in this direction, there is a wide thing here. Okay, in this direction, there is a wide, right? So you see that now this is wider compared to this one. Okay, so that's what has happened. And the other direction, you see that there is a like small width for the rectangular patch, and here it is small. Okay, so in the vertical direction, now it is in the horizontal, it is small. Here it is small in vertical direction, width is small in vertical direction. So so that's what happened here. You see, right? So here also outer product, here also outer product. Okay. So that's how the frequency domain representation happens or appears. Is this clear? Is this clear or not? You see here, okay, it is multiplication of two sinks. One sink is having wider width, okay, because this is having this having wider width here. Okay, it will have a lesser width. Okay, now in frequency domain, this having smaller width, it will have wider width in frequency domain. And now again, this multiplication of these two, this is an instance outer product only. Okay, gives you the two-dimensional sink. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, how we related to outer product here, sir?
Yeah, see how they are related outer product means, see in one dimension if you have anything, okay, and if you want to bring in matrix from one vectors, okay, a couple of two vectors,
Outer product will
how
give
do
us.
we bring? Yeah, even visually if we see here, you take this and you take this, okay, I want a matrix of this sort, then what will happen? Remaining all wherever are zeros, you will get zero only. Only in this middle region you will get some non-zero value. How much width? Okay, width is decided by this, and then sorry, the width is decided by this and length is decided by this. Okay, that's what is here. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Sir, the way you're drawing the rectangle, that part is clear, sir.
Right.
How we related it to the outer product as such. I understand what is outer product, but how we related it here, that I could not relate.
See, if you see, I assume that I only know about one-dimensional pulses. Okay, I don't know about two-dimensional rectangular patch and how to find its Fourier transform. So rectangular pulse, I know that it is sink, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if you multiply these two, are you very clear that you will get this rectangular patch?
Yes, sir.
Huh? So
Yes, sir.
if you do this, what you get? Okay, if you do this, essentially what you get is a rectangular like f of x comma y. Okay, this is what you are getting. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. This much clear.
Right? Okay. So what I'm saying is, in whatever you do in like in time domain, assume that I also have taken the frequency domain representation of this and also have taken frequency domain representation of this. Okay, so see, because usually this transform is referred to as separable transform. Separable transform means what? See, if f of x comma y can be split into f of x in comma like say f1 of x into f1 f2 of y. Okay, if I can make this function separable, okay, then our g of x into f of say g of x into h of y. Okay, then what I can do is essentially I can do it as multiplication, like both of them I can decouple x and y directions. Okay, I need not do two-dimensional integral anymore. Okay, so is my point clear here? So g of x, if f of x comma y can be written as g of x into, okay, some h of y. Okay, then what I'm saying is the whole integral need not be in two dimensions. You can separate the x integral and y integral. X integral is simply the Fourier transform along x direction. Y integral is simply Fourier transform along y direction. Okay, since both x direction is again in horizontal, y direction is vertical, you have two Fourier transforms now. And again we will take the outer product. Is that clear now?
Right.
Yeah. So if this is separable, you have that advantage of doing this. Okay. So that's what is happening here. Because of this outer product, you are able to separate. Okay, this as z of x. Okay, this first term relates to g of x and this term relates to h of y. Okay, and hence you finally get, okay, here, okay, z of u. Okay, so after taking Fourier transform, you take here g of u. Okay, and you have the other term will get, what you get will be h of y, h of v. Okay, yeah, is this clear now or any doubts? Hmm? Yeah, is this clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Yeah. So if the function, initial function is in this form, then finally what you get will be in this form. Okay, that's what you are getting. That's why I am able to write here also outer product, here also outer product. Okay. Okay. So now Okay, so now let us see here. This is also similar example. You are able to make out the similarity between the previous example and this example now. Here, this is of higher width, okay, and this is small length. So you see that the frequency of the, okay, in y direction, okay, in y direction it is very small. Here it is very high, width is high. Sorry, frequency is high, but I think the width is of sinusoid is small. Okay, main lobe of sinusoid is small. Okay, whereas horizontal width of main lobe is high here because the width of pulse in S direction is small here. Okay, so here the rectangular patch is this side. So you see the sinusoid this side. Okay, that means along this direction you see more smaller width sinusoid, high frequency sinusoid. Okay, these are all clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So let's move on. Okay, so what is this? What is this slide showing?
2D Gaussian function and its Fourier transform.
Yeah, Fourier transform is of a Gaussian function is again a Gaussian function. Okay. Okay. So right here if it is narrower Gaussian, this will be wider Gaussian and vice versa. Okay, so these are the basis functions, basis images which I was discussing. So in one dimension, you have only say 0 frequency, 1 hertz frequency, 2 hertz frequency, and so on. Okay, basis functions are all of different frequencies. Whereas here you can see that these basis basis images are also of different frequencies, but in x direction their frequencies are different here. Okay, but in y direction their frequencies are same here. Okay, whereas here you see in y direction their frequencies are different. Okay, in x direction their frequencies are same. Okay, here if you see in both x and y directions, you see the variations of frequencies along the diagonal. Okay, is this clear? Understanding of these basis images? Because this is a Fourier transform is a complex transform, you will have real and imaginary parts. Both of them will have similar look. Okay, in terms of frequencies. Okay, but in terms of magnitude of values, they will be like complementary. Okay, so roughly similar look in frequencies. Okay, so in images, if you want to interpret the Fourier transform, what is it doing? It is expressing the original image in terms of sinusoid, okay, of different frequencies, okay, yeah, and different angles of sinusoids. Okay, some may be horizontal sinusoids because of x directional sinusoid. Some may be vertical sinusoids because of y-directional sinusoids. Okay, some may be mix of them. Okay, and the algebraic sum of all this, what you get is the image. Hope these are all clear. Okay, so if you take 2D Fourier transform, you can see that most of the times the energy is concentrated at the center, just like one-dimensional Fourier transform. But if there are any edge information here, see if there are dominant edges in this direction, it means that there are high frequencies in this direction. Okay, so and hence this direction sinusoid also will have high frequency that you can see here. Okay, see here, this directional sinusoids, this directional edges are there. That means edges are here, but these edges will get crossed in if I move along this. So frequency is high in this direction. And hence sinusoid also is high, having high frequencies in this direction. Okay, so along the edges you don't have frequency. Orthogonal to the edge you have high frequencies. That's why you have the high frequencies along the orthogonal to the edge. Okay, not along the edge, orthogonal to the edge. Hope these are all clear. So this finds a good, very important information. Okay, in understanding the content of the image. Okay, even in frequency domain. So now if I want to find only say edges in the image, what I do, I apply high pass filtering. If I want to have only say without noise, only the smooth information in the image, what I apply is low pass filter. Okay, so in high pass and low pass filters in frequency domain look like this. They are multiplying with, okay, flat ones at the center, okay, or flat zeros at the center, and rest are all ones. Okay, this also,
Sir,
yeah.
why the edges are concentrated in high frequency?
Yeah, so see, edges means what? Where are all, see, what do you mean by frequency in an image? The variation.
Count pixels,
Yeah, so variation.
densities.
Yeah, variation of pixel intensities itself are edges. Okay, so that is happening at the edges, right? So that's why you see that they are high frequency content.
Okay, sir. Okay, I got it.
Means high frequency. Okay, and that happens at edges. So you see that edges are retained or will be shown in high pass filtered image, right? Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
yeah, again here, so I can give these things even in your exam and ask which are the dominant frequencies, in which direction you can expect. Okay, so you should be ready for it. So I like request TS to keep pursuing on the Viva sheets. Okay, so I think we should have it at least once in 2 labs. Yeah, here these are all mostly circular regions, right? So here it's like sinusoids. Okay, so there will be dots, impulses here in the frequency domain. Okay, so that's what happens. One dimension sinusoids. Okay, repeated pattern. Then another direction, another domain, impulses. Okay, even here you see there is a repeated pattern. There is a periodic pattern, gives rise to impulses in other domain. Okay, any periodic pattern in one domain gives impulses in other domain. Okay, so if you want to do filtering, you can do in 2 ways. One is in spatial domain or in other is in frequency domain. Spatial domain means what? You do convolution with the filter impulse response. In frequency domain means what? Okay, you apply Fourier transform with padding zeros. Okay, and with the same dimension, bring the filter also to the same dimension as that of the image. Okay, take the Fourier transform of the image. Take the Fourier transform of the image. Okay, take the Fourier transform of the filter, multiply them both to get the frequency domain representation of the convolution, and then take inverse Fourier transform to get the image back. Okay, so you can do either way, this way or this way. Hope this is clear. Both use the filtered image. Let it be low pass filter or Gaussian filter or high pass filter or any other filter. But filtering can be done in both ways. So when you do it, you will see which is more accurate and so on. Which do you think is more accurate? You might have done in filter design, right? Both in time, spatial and frequency domains. Which is more comfortable and accurate? Yeah, you check it. So your frequency domain is more accurate. Okay, and comfortable as well. Okay, so then these transforms, as I said, are orthogonal transforms where you can find the inverse or inverse Hermitian. Okay, so Hermitian of the matrix simply by transpose. Okay, transpose and conjugate, transpose conjugate. So essentially the interpretation of these transforms is that transform the data from one coordinate system to another coordinate system. Okay, so or one domain to other domain. So if this is the transform, then they move it by an angle. So I will skip these things. These transforms are all orthogonal transforms. The advantage is that you can find out the inverse through transpose. That is one thing. Second thing is these are invertible transforms. You can completely get the whole information from frequency domain to time domain and time domain to frequency domain, unless you apply some thresholding in the frequency domain. Okay, so if you want to do any compression, image compression, what you do is you you get the frequency domain representation, you threshold them. You keep all the coefficients less than some threshold to be 0. then what you get is the threshold like compressed image. That means you can represent the image information through only few non-zero quotients. Okay, so I will skip these things. These you can understand from slides itself. Okay, there are different other, like you can, as I said, these are separable transforms. First, you can first transform across the row and then across the column. So I will skip these things. Okay, so I think you have seen in previous classes. Okay, so you can if you add noise, like periodic noise to the signal, you can easily remove them by using the filtering. Okay, because periodic noise results in sinusoid, so it's a sinusoidal noise. Okay, in the time domain, in frequency domain, it is periodic noise. Okay, noise with that period. So you can easily apply a low pass filter or band pass filter, band stop filter, and get back the original signal back. Okay, so I think if you remember, we have discussed at the beginning of the ADSP course. I am skipping this. Okay, similarly, as I said, by thresholding the quotients, okay, which are very small in frequency domain, you can represent the whole signal with very small number of frequency quotients. Okay, and that leads to compression of information, compressive representation of the information. Okay, these can also be used for noise removal, because noise is usually of high dimension, but the signal is of, see, this is all low dimension, noise is of high dimension. So in frequency domain, if you apply low pass filter, most of the noise gets filtered out. You will get the smooth output. Okay, so this Fourier transform in the frequency domain, you can also do denoising. Okay, as I said, you can remove periodic noise, you can remove Gaussian noise, you can remove, okay, any slightly different kind of noise as well. Okay, through low pass filtering. If you want to enhance edges, you need to apply high pass filtering and enhance edges. If you want to remove periodic noise, you have to apply band stop filter to stop only that band of the periodic signal. Okay, that is seen here. This is only, this is affected by sinusoidal noise, and you can stop only this band. Okay, then what will happen? The image will be clean. These were the techniques widely used at the beginning of image processing era and applications to several satellite images or communication of images or transmission of images. So previously, images used to be like this. Okay, when we get from some satellites and so on, because of the sensor limitations and so on. Okay, so if you apply appropriate filtering, you will be able to get a cleaner image. So though we have discussed a lot about the magnitude information, okay, phase is also reasonably important in frequency domain. So if you take the phase of this Fourier transform across U and V, that also is a two-dimensional image. That also looks like phase image, or it's a two-dimensional phase information. So I will skip the other transforms which are not important for us. Okay, I will move on directly to cosine transform. Okay, which is again a transform people use in image processing widely, especially for image compression. I think I skipped it. So let me see. Cosine transform is, other than the Fourier transform, cosine transform is a real transform, wherein you have cosine signals to bring, okay, one from spatial domain to cosine domain, or say frequency domain. So let me see if I can. Yeah, meanwhile, if you have any questions in whatever I have discussed, please ask. Yeah, so this is cosine transform. Okay, so cosine transform, as you see, and instead of e power minus j, okay, ux by 2n, this is discrete Fourier transform if you write. Okay, so e power minus 2 pi into, okay, k into like kx by n into e power minus j 2 pi into, okay, instead of k, l we will put, instead of x, y we will put. Okay, or ux and vy. Okay, vy by m. So that will be in frequency domain Fourier transform. Cosine transform is using, instead of exponential functions, you will have the cosine basis to transform from time domain to or space domain to frequency domain. Cos of this, okay, as you can see, that is x, like brings in x frequencies, this brings in y frequencies. Okay, this applies on columns, and this is also a separable transform. Okay, and this is the signal where u of m comma n is the image signal. Okay, and alpha, these two are the normalizing quantities such that you can easily invert from one domain to other domain, cosine to spatial domain and spatial domain to cosine or frequency domain. Okay, so this expression you can apply if you are asked to do cosine transform. Okay, so the spatial domain like two-dimensional Fourier transform, I hope by now you should be able to write the expression for Fourier transform in 2 dimensions. So can one of you tell quickly? I will write here with poor writing, but request one of you to tell. 2-dimensional Fourier, discrete Fourier transform. You know how to write or not?
Yes, sir. F of x comma y into e power minus
Yeah. Into e power minus
j 2 pi
e power minus j, okay, 2 pi. Let me see if it is there somewhere unless I am writing. Yeah, e power j 2 pi, you complete it.
ku plus kv.
Ku by n, okay, plus ky, sorry, ly by m. Okay, so let me see if it is there. They're all sinusoid. Okay, let me complete writing then. I will write here itself. Okay, e power j. So simply you will have actually one term that is corresponding to x frequencies. That is okay. Here it is k, but previous discussion 2 pi is common. Okay, for both of them. Okay, but if you have m rows, okay, then u into x is x direction. Okay, x by m plus what? Plus
vy by
yeah,
dy
v by
divided by
n. Okay, so is this clear? Okay, this is the Fourier transform, 2-dimensional. This is over x. Okay, then this is y. From where to where this x and y summation goes? From where to where x and y summation goes? And what is this side?
0 to m minus 1 and 0 to n minus 1.
Very good. 0 to m minus 1 and 0 to n minus 1. That's all. Okay, so this is u comma v, f of u comma v. Okay, fine then. So that's all. So regarding the transforms, now in the lab sheet, what you need to do is only this. Okay, so I will now move on to the explanation discussion on the lab sheet. So if you have any questions or doubts, you please ask me. Okay. So if you cooperate like this, I will finish off my discussion in another 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. But I think you make sure that you understand and will be able to do lab sheet reasonably with good understanding. Okay, so this is first question is finding 2D Fourier transforms. Okay, 2D discrete Fourier transform. And then for plots, usually we take log for the magnitude plot because their values are very high. Okay, log transform we will plot. Okay, and you can apply a filter. Creation of filter, you can do it in time domain. After doing filtering, you pad with zeros and take Fourier transform. Then you will have the same size as that of the original image. Okay, here the question is, first thing is add noise and apply filtering and see if that get removed. Second question is, you directly apply high pass filter to original image and see if edges are enhanced, edges are visible. Okay, third question is, given a sinusoid, cosinusoid of two different x and y frequencies, okay, you try to take Fourier transform and see where does the impulses occur, and will you be able to understand from that what inference do you make out. Okay, so FFT shift you have to use in each of these cases to center the spectrums. Okay, so and then as I said, you can apply a discrete Fourier transform or discrete cosine transform for image compression. So what you do is you apply discrete cosine transform for the original image. Okay, so a image. Okay, and after that you take the coefficients which are less than threshold to 0 and take the inverse for cosine transform. You should be able to see almost the same image as the original one with very lesser number of non-zero image pixels in the non-zero coefficients in the after thresholding in frequency domain or in cosine domain. Okay, so the last question is, instead of applying it to the whole image, one cosine transform, for each block you repeat this process and you see very effective like compression. That means that many number of coefficients can be made 0. Okay, and only few non-zero coefficients in frequency domain you will be able to represent the image. That's all is the lab sheet. Okay, so any questions here? Okay, so is this lab sheet 5 or 4?
5, sir.
5. Okay, very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Okay, I think we are progressing well in terms of giving lab sheets. Hope you are also reached the pace where you can reasonably submit. Okay, in at least in say around the timelines. Hope that's happening.
Sir, 3 like
Sir, can we not have lab sheet in next week?
Okay, next week lab sheet we want to skip.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Means,
you take up all the earlier ones.
yes, sir.
Okay, fine. That's fine. That's fine. So you can do that. Okay, so but I think ADSP lab sheet let us have tomorrow. So is that fine? ADSP we are all up to mark?